Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Turin here, and today, guys, we're going to do a live BattleCast versus the Empire. So we're actually going to play the Beastmen. Definitely one of my favorite matchups for the Beastmen, actually. I feel like the low-tier Beastmen infantry are quote-unquote low-tier, like the Goreherds with their buffed melee attack, which is now 36 as opposed to 31. They're very, very good against like spears and halberds and units like that, and just pretty solid all around. And also, they do have this primal frenzy mechanic, which essentially is like your traditional frenzy, but again, it does make them immune to psychology, which is really, really nice against, the flying goon squad of the Empire. So we're going to go ahead and get Morker, the Shadow Gave. And I think we're going to bring GOREBULL back. We've been neglecting him. We're going to get rid of these abilities because more often than not, I just forget to use them. Let's see. Slaughterer's Call. So what does that give? It gives affects allies in range, gives leadership. 8 melee attacks, pretty good. So I think we'll keep that. And for our main line, we're going to get 4 Goreherds, and then we're also going to get 3 Bestigors, which gives us a answer against greatswords. It gives us some more heavy kind of a flagellant style damage with the Goreherds here. And then as far as the rest of our army goes, we're going to get 2 Centaurs. We're going to get some poison. Do we want to get some poison hounds? Actually, let's maybe mix it up a little bit and have some fun. Although he probably is going to have some pretty aggressive missiles. That's my only concern here. I do need a Lore of Magic as well. So let's go ahead and go with, you know what? Do we want to try Lore of Death out? I know Lore of Shadows is so much fun though. But you know what? Let's try Lore of Death and see what happens. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the Purple Sun. Let's keep Fate of Buna, get rid of Soulblight. And just keep Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna. It's kind of like an old school style, but we're just going to see if we can make it work. So as far as our army goes, let's get 1 more of these. And how much do I have left? 600. So that's actually pretty perfect. So I can get 2 spears here. And yeah, so we don't have any missiles though. That's kind of like my one thing that's kind of bothering me about this build. Against the Empire, I really like to have like 2 Ungor Raiders just to like poke down, the silver bullets or handgunners or something like that that are, pretty prime targets. So the one thing that I don't feel confident about this build is the Lore of Death. I don't think it's going to be the best against the Empire. I honestly think Shadows like Pit of Shades is pretty good against like clumped up low tier infantry. And also on that same coin, I mean, I think Lord of the Wild, even with Flock of Doom or Devolve, like those abilities would have been, more useful arguably. But, just trying new things out. I haven't used Fate of Buna in like months. So I'm kind of like eager to see, how it plays out. If he does have like Demogryph Knights or something, then it can really generate some good value for you. So, well, this is cool. So isn't this the map from the quest battle? For any of you guys that know, I'm pretty sure this is the one from the Errantry War, isn't it? When you're playing the Bretonnian campaign. But yeah, there's quite a few new maps, I guess, that I haven't played. I know there's the one that was originally just like a traditional kind of a wooded and kind of a has a little, I'm trying to remember what it is, but it's the one where there's like that valley and they redid it and they made it like Norskin, kind of like northern snowy, reskinned it essentially, and it's pretty darn cool. So hopefully my opponent will load in here and everything will go to code, guys. So just give me 1 second. I gotta adjust my microphone real quick. All right, I think we're good. Sorry about that, guys. All right, cool. So my opponent's loading in, and it's time to party. So yeah, Beastmen, pretty fun against the Empire for sure. It's, the way the Empire infantry are, flagellants, all those type of troops, they make the low tier Beastmen infantry pretty strong, especially these Goreherds here. They perform quite well. So, okay, so he deploys over here. So I was actually concerned he was going to like deploy up here on the high ground, but this would actually be really cool for like Vanguard stuff. Now, you have to ask yourself the question, is my opponent going to like kind of like bum rush this hill? And I have a feeling he might like deploy up here and then just come up the hill. So I'm actually going to deploy over here. So what we want to do is stagger our formations and just kind of mix and match them. So the reason you kind of stagger them like Goreherd, Bestigor. So because you don't know like how your opponent's going to deploy. So having a mixed match formation gives you like, relatively speaking, the highest likelihood of having like a decent matchup in the front line. So we're going to get Morker, we're going to get the Shadow Sorcerer with him, and a big Papa GOREBULL back there. Man, I haven't gotten GOREBULL in forever. So then we're also going to get some spears over here in the wings like so. Just kind of help them, so if he has like an overwhelming cav force coming in on me, what you then do is you send the spears out and you pull your own cav back. And you're able to do pretty well for yourself. So this will actually be nice. We can get like a Vanguard deployment up here, get some sight on the high ground and yeah, see what's going on. So Morker, I forgot to get the Staff of Ruinous Corruption. That's pretty unfortunate. Definitely going to be a bummer, but you know what? I think we'll be okay. The Spirit Essence of Chaos even is strong, and just in generally speaking, he's a pretty strong lord. So yeah, so my opponent started off up on the hill here. Man, it's such a bummer we forgot that. So he does have a steam tank, which is going to be pretty good. So yeah, a lot of it's going to come down and a little bit of lag here, so hopefully my opponent can recover from this. But a lot of it is going to, yeah, so he's Karl Franz, he's got some halberds. It looks like he does have some Reichsguard. So Reichsguard, I should be able to handle no problem with the Centaurs. So what we want to do is eventually, get the Centaurs on top of that steam tank. That's going to be really good. They do very well, and I'm also very, very glad I brought a GOREBULL, because GOREBULLs are essentially like not, I guess you could say they are a hard counter to steam tanks, because steam tanks are pretty quick, very, very annoying to deal with. So we're going to run over there in the trees. But the steam tanks, they have a 50 speed. So a lot of times like standard infantry, like Bestigors and armor piercing infantry can't catch them, and they can just kite you, and it's really, really frustrating. So kind of one of the answers to that is the GOREBULL, who has 58 speed, and he can catch it. He has anti-large, he has armor piercing. He's just like perfectly equipped to deal with that. So we're taking a little bit of fire here, which is unfortunate. I don't want to engage on those Reichsguard until he pulls his halberds a little bit away, and it looks like, yeah, so he might like pressure the back line, although he does have like a bunch of handgunners. So ideally, if we can get him on like right here, he has a good slope right here. So you guys see how his army set up. So very well played to my opponent, like kind of setting up that way. That's gonna be tough. So we're gonna start like coming up, and let's do a little bit of a delayed engagement so they don't go straight in. And yeah, let's get right down to business. So we're gonna use the Fate of Buna. Karl Franz, it doesn't look like he has Lore of Life, so he has a Light Wizard actually. So what we'll do is we'll kind of like posture these guys out here, and just get a little bit of a spread here. And yeah, GOREBULL, let's go ahead and send him over here and send the Wizard. Yeah, we want to keep the Wizard relatively close to my Lord for protection. So we're going to just take a ton of fire, and you can see he's like netting us right now, which is fine. So we still have, plenty of troops advancing here. That's kind of why we did that like split there in the beginning. So let's go ahead and push these guys in here, and it looks like he's landing Karl Franz here, which is it's a bit bold. It's a bold move, Cotton. So he's going to get these halberds back here. Yeah, we'll get a little bit of a charge, and then we'll probably pull back after that. If we can get a Spirit Leech on Karl, that would be pretty nice, because my opponent doesn't have healing. So let's just keep pushing in here, get everyone going into here, and good. So everyone's engaged. We got a great engagement on those Reichsguard. And a lot of people underestimate the shock damage. So as soon as those halberds come, we're just going to pull back. We're going to get our Lord going here, and we're going to go ahead and use the Spirit Leech on Karl, which is going to be quite strong. And let's make sure to get Morker up here as well. So we took, some casualties, but I would say we got our money's worth out of those Reichsguard. And what we want to do now is get the GOREBULL up and have him go after the Steam Tank or the Light Wizard even. So right here, let's push these guys through. Yeah, because my opponent kind of like vacated this like center pocket, so that's going to be really, really dicey for him. So let's pull up and around through here. That should be good. And GOREBULL's taking a ton of fire, which is really unfortunate. So very, very well played. But again, I think my opponent's backline is pretty heavily compromised here, so I think we can get through and do pretty well for ourselves. So he does come in here with Karl. So let's actually turn and surround, and then we can get a Spirit Leech here in a moment. So we're going to get these guys going here, these guys going here, and we do have our Cav coming back in as well. So we're going to pull them through the pocket. We do have Morker in here fighting, and we should have a Spirit Leech relatively soon. So again, Karl's pretty strong, but he doesn't have healing. So I still think Boris is like a much more competitive Lord, but man, that GOREBULL is just taking like some heavy fire. So I've been a little bit sloppy with that, but we are going to get a pretty good charge in here, and let's actually just go after the handgunners with our Cav there. And in the front line, I don't see my opponent's like army holding up for that much longer. So we do have a Fate of Buna still. So I don't know if there's like any great targets to use it on. But man, we get a really, really good charge in there. And let's get these hounds back in, have them kind of sneak up and through. And yeah, so we got infantry on the handgunners here, which is quite good. Let's see if we can swamp on Karl here real quick. And yeah, our Lord is doing pretty good. We do have our AP infantry, so let's actually push some of those guys back as well. And Morker, we want to go ahead and use his buffs. And then we can't quite get the Spirit Essence of Chaos yet, which is, it should be pretty close here. So we're going to wait for a Spirit Leech, and we almost have it. We're getting a really, really good surround on Karl. And again, just taking advantage of the fact that he doesn't have healing. So we're going to use another Spirit Leech here. We got Spears, we got some Bestigors pushing back here, and we also have some Hounds coming in to sandwich, which again, they're not going to do like massive damage, but they should do pretty well for themselves. So we do have his Lord isolated here. So let's actually pull these guys to get the Lord. We'll just to get the Death Sorcerer and those Bestigors to finish these guys off. And let's pull this group up and around here, because again, I think we have like enough going on. So Karl should go down after like one more Spirit Leech or two. Honestly, the Fate of Buna probably wasn't even really like necessary. The Spirit Leech has been a very, very good tool for like poking down Karl and kind of mitigating a lot of just business that he's doing. So yeah, let's get these guys kind of pushing over here. We'll get some of these AP Bestigors on that Steam Tank here. And even if Karl wants to sit up in the sky, like I'm totally fine with that. So we want to look for the Spirit Essence right now, and we definitely missed out on quite a few opportunities. And those guys are too far. These guys are being chased off, which is good. And the Light Wizard is indeed routing. So let's go ahead and pop another Spirit Leech here. Just kind of keep poking them down. And I actually just got like rammed by that Steam Tank. So let's get these spears, have them run over here, and we'll definitely get the Spirit Leech going on these guys, and good. So yeah, let's see. The Hounds, we definitely want to go feasting. So what I'm going to do is send the Hounds after these handgunners, and Morker, we want to, yeah, I guess we'll just wait for that Spirit Essence. We were like pretty inefficient with that this game, but thankfully it's working out pretty well for us regardless. So we're going to kind of run over here, just plan on getting another Spirit Leech going. Morker, let's go ahead and check and see if there's any targets. Yeah, I guess we can just keep fighting right here against these Halberdiers and hopefully be able to win the day in that respect. So we're going to pull these guys over to kind of deal with those Reichsguard that are coming in. Just keep these guys going and get my Sorcerer going over here. We should have a Spirit Leech in about 15 seconds. So, oh yeah, some good targets coming in. So this is nice. So we definitely want to hit those Reichsguard. That's gonna be it's gonna be pretty ripe. So we're gonna get over here, just kind of engage these spears, so you just like block these guys up, and the Reichsguard get taken out by the Spirit Essence of Chaos. And let's push these guys in as well. And Karl is coming in pretty hot here, but he's gonna have a pretty bad time. And oh, hopefully I don't just get like cycle knocked over. That would be really bad if that failed. So we get the Spirit Leech. Do we? Yeah, okay, good. So that should be able to kill Karl, so we're just going to kind of run right now. We do have some of these Hounds that we're able to clean up some of those routing units. And yeah, a little bit of lag, so my apologies, guys, but we're going to bring these Hounds back to the front line. And, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, the Steam Tank's going to be a little annoying to deal with, but again, we still do have like some Bestigors and, some other units that are pretty quick, and Beastmen infantry aren't like slow. So Karl goes down to the Spirit Leech, which is nice. And now, yeah, the rest of his army should like start collapsing here in a minute, I think. So We will have enough for a Fade Abuna, actually, so we could use that on like a group of halberds or something like that. We do have the Poison Hound, so we're going to try and get like around that steam tank. But yeah, we still have, what, 53 Bestigors here who should be able to have enough AP. Granted, my opponent could just like start running, but what do I have left in terms of like really mobile units? So let's go ahead and just take a big look up here. We'll get these guys kind of engaged here. We'll check the back, and we can sandwich the steam tank a little bit back here with these guys who are coming back from terror routing. And yeah, let's get Big Papa Morker in here. Yeah, so we actually did pretty good for ourselves, even without the Staff of Ruinous Corruption, and I guess we could Spirit Leech the steam tank. That's probably not a terrible idea. So let's get the Hounds up and around like this, and also I do have some of these guys coming back. So, I mean, even 10 of these with their 34 weapon strength and heavy AP will be pretty useful in this matchup, you know, with the steam tank being left. So let's go ahead and use the, yeah, you can see my opponent scurrying away with it. So we're going to get a Spirit Leech here. We're going to go ahead and jump on these guys. We're just going to you know, swarm it with everything we have. And again, we should be fine. So I was a little bit sloppy with the GOREBULL play, but again, he did take a lot of fire and kind of a, I don't know, that was probably the best case scenario for my opponent going after that. But man, I feel like we've just had so many Spirit Leeches this game. It's been pretty effective, and it actually did some decent damage to that steam tank as well. So yeah, so GG to my opponent. I mean, I don't think he can come back, even though steam tanks are quite strong. I do have a full health Morker. And Spirit Essence of Chaos, I'm pretty sure actually works on these guys. So so yeah, the Beastmen are actually pretty decent against the steam tank because they have like a lot of fast units. Even their infantry do have like, you know, 37, 40 speed, which is good. When the Primal Frenzy wears off and their leadership drops below 50%, they do lose a little bit of speed, but still, like, Centaurs, the Great Opens are a pretty good answer as well. And let's go ahead and just use another Spirit Leech, which should be just enough. And yeah, so we're getting 1 per 9. Why are our Winds of Magic so good? It's pretty incredible. I feel like it should be, yeah, 1 per 18. So I don't know. I guess we're just not using huge abilities or something, or... But anyways, looks like the steam tank, yeah, that Spirit Leech is really good. Man, that's just taking that thing down. So pretty great stuff. So yeah, GG guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Definitely a good time. Always good to play the Beastie Boys. And yeah, the Empire matchup's fun. My critiques of his build, let's see. So as far as Swordsman, yeah, so I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Swordsman here. I think he probably should have gotten like some Flagellants. Flagellants are pretty good at holding the line against Beasts, and they against lightly armored targets like Gores, they trade somewhat effectively. Granted, I think they do lose straight up. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to test that. But Halberds, I really like that pick. Pretty good. They have armor piercing, high melee defense. They can hold up against Bestigors pretty efficiently. 3 handgunners is a little bit excessive, I think. I would have liked to have seen maybe 2 of those and, you know, some spears to protect the back line because his back line was super vulnerable. He put too many resources in the front line and, you know, I guess well, I don't know. Did he have stuff in the back line? I guess he did, but the Reichsguard just got punished. That was like really, really brutal by the Centaurs. And Steam Tank did pretty good. Carl's a decent choice, but again, Boris is more competitive, but I love using Karl Franz, and I typically do use him because I don't own Boral Franz. I don't own Boris. So, and the Light Wizard was decent, but the nets weren't like that devastating. I think Lore of Life would have made that a much tougher game. But anyways, very well played to my opponent, Toga 1000. Look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and I hope you guys enjoyed this Beast cast. Have an excellent night, and take care.